friends, welcome back. We were discussing about positive organizational scholarship in our previous session. I will continue with the same topic and I will extend my topic to the correlates of positive organizational scholarship to organizational virtuousness. Previously, we discussed about organizational resilience at individual level, group level and organizational level. Here in this session, I am going to talk about organizational virtuousness. We all understand the literal meaning of these terms. Virtuousness, it is about doing good and which has larger impact on other people in form of goodness only. So, that means that every act that we perform should have a positive impact at personal level and at the social level. Similarly, when we talk about organizational virtuousness, basically it talks about that how an organizational policies, procedures, even an individual employee who is working and contributing to the organization must have this understanding that how individual, group level and organizational activities can have a larger impact on society. That is about moral goodness. It is about rightness, righteous act that contributes not only to the organization, but to the society. So, when we talk about organizational virtues, it is a key component of POS and it is a concept which is displayed in and through organizations, which can be defined as the desires and actions that produce personal and social good. That means an individual's activity should have the outcome in form of goodness or righteous act which has good impact at personal level and at social level. It has been derived from the Latin word virtus, which means strength or excellence. That means the strength of any individual's activity should have a good impact on the environment. Therefore, when we talk about virtuousness, recently has been described as the best of the human condition, the most enabling behaviors and outcomes, the excellence and essence of humankind and the highest aspirations of human beings. It is about protecting oneself from any bad environment, and it is not protecting at personal level, but also protecting the environment or the society from any negative impact, and also amplify or encourage or increase positive behavior. Therefore, virtuousness in and through organizations can manifest as an individual's activities or as collective action and characteristics of an organization's culture or process that may enable virtuous deeds. So, what are the three definitional attributes of organizational virtuousness? What it talks about? Why we say that when we talk about virtuousness, it should have a good impact on an individual and at social level. Basically, it is about the attributes of organizational virtuousness which has a larger impact in terms of human impact, moral goodness and social betterment. That is what I have discussed in introducing this term organizational virtuousness, that it is about how it impacts an individual and the society in form of morality or moral goodness or the righteous act. So, what is human impact? The structure of an organization is inherently not virtuous, as it does not necessarily have intrinsic positive or negative human impact. That is for sure that whenever any organization is established, it establishes on a solid ground of structural properties of an organization, that how groups will be formed, what will be the policies and procedures, how the capital or the finance has to be utilized to generate more funds, and at the end how the resources can be used in a very prudent manner. So, this is the basic structure of any organization and which is inherent to every organization. Every organization will think on these lines only, right, but we never think about when we are talking about organizational structure and processes, that how it is going to have an impact on humans. But currently the designing of organization has to be done in a way that it has a positive human impact. Therefore, if the structure is designed specifically to perpetuate flourishing interpersonal relationships, meaningful work, enhanced learning and personal development among employees, the intended positive human effects of this unique structure can be illustrated based on the key aspect of virtuousness, that is positive human impact. So, whenever an organization is being established, it will never think of to that extent that how interpersonal relationship will be maintained, how an organization can provide a learning environment for the employees, and how there can be encouragement to personal development of an individual employee. But if organizations are designed on these patterns, then the human impact of any organization can easily be observed in any organization, and if this positive human impact is being identified, observed in any organization, then we can say that any organization is a virtuous organization. Therefore, virtuousness is associated with human beings with flourishing moral character, self-control, resilience and meaningful purpose. So, it should not be that any organization is just focusing on meeting the ends or meeting the goals. It is about that how organization, even in the state of adversity, how employees contribute to the organization and bounce back, how an individual task has been assigned is not only a job to perform, but how it offers an identity to an individual and how that individual task is contributing to the organization and the environment. This is about human impact attribute of organizational virtuousness. Next is moral goodness. It represents that what is right, good and worthy of cultivation. It is about morality, that what is right, what is wrong, what should be performed and what ought not to be performed. So, the moral component of virtuousness is characterized by goods of first intent. So, it is about the intentions, that what organizations have the intentions in order to consider employees as human beings, that which is ennobling as honorable. It characterizes organizations as well as individuals having both moral goals and possessing ideas of goodness. So, this indicates that it should foster behaviors which are right and morally correct, or the conduct of any organization is morally correct, which is contributing to the characterization of the employee and the organization. So, the aim of the organization should not be only to generate financial capital, but at the same time it should also think about employees, that how they are achieving their goals in a morally correct manner. Whereas, the second intent includes which is good for the sake of obtaining something else such as profit, prestige or power. Even these are very important intentions of any individual employee at workplace in form of profit, prestige and power. Every organization, every employee want to earn high prestige, they want to be more powerful in the market and they want to earn maximum profit in terms of bonus and in terms of overall fiscal profit. But the way that intention is fulfilled, it has to be morally correct. It should not be immoral or illicit in the form that for the sake of generating profit, by hook or by crook the organization can indulge in any financial discrepancy. So, this is about conducting the organization in a morally correct manner. It is about honesty, it is about integrity, it is about the conduct that is being performed to maintain power, prestige, profit and at the same time the character of the organization. And the last attribute is social betterment. So, this attribute produces benefit to others regardless of reciprocity or reward. Social betterment extends beyond the mere self-interested benefit. It is similar to performing corporate social responsibilities or citizenship behaviors, that or being altruistic, that there is no sense of reward or there is no expectation that the moral act or any citizenship act will be rewarded. It is about that how we are contributing to the society for the betterment of the society or the social environment. So, this attribute produces actions which are beyond the self-interested benefit of the organizations. That means, organization whatever is earning is contributing something out of that benefit or profit to the society. So, thus virtuousness refers to behaviors that extend beyond expected customary or instrumental motivations such as CSR, OCB, sponsoring environmentally friendly programs or utilizing renewable resources towards fostering benefit to others irrespective of reciprocity. So, there is no reciprocation, only altruism or only cooperation which is offered to the society in form of CSR or in form of citizenship behaviors, where there is no expectation to get something in return. It is only extending your hands, organizational hands, to the betterment of the society in form of saving the environment, using renewable resources, corporate social responsibility or citizenship behaviors. Okay. So, what are the amplifying and buffering attributes of virtuousness? Now, amplifying and buffering. Amplifying here means how it escalates positive outcomes, and buffering how it protects the organization from any threats, danger or any bad environment. So, when we talk about organizational virtuousness, it has major impact on organizational environment and culture. So, the two key attributes of virtuousness can explain these results as its amplifying qualities which escalates positive consequences such as positive emotion, social capital and pro-social behavior. So, these are the positive consequences or outcomes of virtuousness, how it contributes to positive spiral, positive upward spirals in form of emotions, positive emotions in form of social capital. Social capital means maintaining strong interpersonal relationships, and pro-social behavior means performing citizenship behaviors or altruistic behaviors. So, virtuous behaviors produce positive emotions which lead to replication of virtuousness and elevation of positive well-being. Positive well-being means that there is more sense of autonomy, mastery, personal growth and purpose in life and meaningful relationship. Definitely when these kind of aspects are being experienced by employee and by the organization, this amplifies positive patterns of behaviors. Positive emotions such as compassion, optimism and joy lead to positive activities in organizations such as helping behaviors or altruism. They perpetuate positive patterns of behavior. So, it has a positive spillover effect on the other employees, which in turn create upward spirals of positive feelings. When organization members observe compassion, experience love or witness forgiveness, they increase their pride in the organization, enjoyment of the work and satisfaction with the job, because there is reduced conflict. Definitely conflict will exist, but there will be reduced tendency to create conflict among members or between members. There is more forgiveness. So, the more forgiveness is there, so less conflicts are there. Otherwise, people tend to escalate conflicts based on logics. But when this kind of behavior is encouraged or amplified in any organization, this leads to positive spirals, upward spirals and more virtuousness. Therefore, the amplifying quality of virtuousness and positive effect is similar to the heliotropic effect. Heliotropic effect, which signifies the natural human tendency to turn towards the positive. So, employees, even when experiencing positivity or positive emotions at workplace, they are more attracted to the same organization. They have less intention to leave the organization, and this tendency is termed as heliotropic effect, because a person is attracted to the positive only. So, when you have the tendency or any individual has a tendency to get attracted towards positive, then it is experienced as heliotropic effect. So, this is the amplifying effect. One positive emotion will amplify positive upward spirals. Okay. The second reason for the amplifying effects of virtuousness is association with the formation of social capital. If the one amplifying effect is positive emotions, the other amplifying effect is social capital. It is about caregiving, empathy and trust. More people care about each other, people means employees who care about each other, there is more trust and there is more caregiving to each other. This generates social capital, because it tends to escalate positive interpersonal relationship among members. So, there are high quality relationships, people feel free to exchange more information, even knowledge, experience positive energy, because there are positive vibes. Two people who are experiencing positivity, they will exchange positives only. They desire to strengthen the relationship and exchange more valued resources. So, there is more sharing of the resources, even if the resources are scarce, still there is more sharing. Otherwise, generally what happens, when organization is going through some scarcity of resources, there is more conflict. But if such kind of behaviors are being encouraged in the background, definitely this behavior will come into the fore, and ultimately there is more exchange of positive energy where resources can also be shared. Hence, organizational virtuousness enhances social capital, which in turn enhances organizational performances. And the third virtuousness fosters pro-social behavior. It is about altruistic behaviors, when individuals behave in ways that benefits other people. A simple example can be that how an individual employee cooperates with the other employee in order to complete his task, and knowing that these behaviors are not being rewarded, but yes, it fabricates the social life of the organization, and hence these are encouraged within the organization. So, in case of virtuousness, individuals engage in prosocial behavior because of internal definitions of goodness and intrinsic motivation towards helping others. So, when positive emotions are there, social capital is enhanced, then people tend to have the tendency to help other people. They are motivated to help. This is intrinsic motivation to help other people, and that defines goodness of the organization. Hence, positive spirals of pro-social behavior spirals positive effect and thus escalates virtuous behavior. These are the amplifying effects of virtuousness. Alright, next is what are the buffering qualities, that how we can protect the organization against negative consequences. So, virtuousness also buffers the organization from the negative effects of downsizing by enhancing resiliency, solidarity and sense of efficacy. When there are positive emotions around members, when there is more use of information among members, then members also tend to come together, that is solidarity, to face any adverse situation within the organization, and definitely it buffers the negative effects of downsizing or any other economic crisis, because employees come together to deal with the situation, to respond to any crisis in a very collective manner, that is solidarity, that enhances the resiliency levels of the employees and ultimately raises their efficiency at the same time. That is how virtuousness buffers the negative consequences of any organizational process. At the group and organizational level, virtuousness enhances the ability to absorb threats and traumas and dangers and bounce back from adversity. Because of solidarity, togetherness, sense of togetherness, people tend to face adverse situations in a more collective manner. Thus, it helps protect organizations against the deterioration associated with downsizing. It helps foster strengthening organizational process that protect employees from threats and negative consequences. Definitely, solidarity leads to strengthened relationships. So, people become more proximal to each other, they are more cohesive, and ultimately they tend to face any danger in a very protective manner, thus helping organizations maintain the capability to effectively steer their way through conditions of unpredictable changes. So, steer their way means that how they carve their path in the midst of adversity with lot of solidarity and effective manner. So, how these buffering elements can be reinforced? So, this can be reinforced through variety of process and structures, including open communication channels, empowered and cohesive work groups. Empowered means there more control and competence is there among members. The more control they have, the more autonomy they have to perform the task, the more competence they tend to derive from performing the job in their own way. So, they become more empowered. Conducive reward and recognition systems are there, and clear statements of values and vision and opportunities for interpersonal interaction. When these kind of factors are being offered or existing in any organization, this amplifies organizational virtuousness and buffers many other organizational negative consequences. Thus, we can conclude that virtuousness in organizations represent a set of activities, values, emotions and consequences that are positively deviant. It focuses on uplifting, ennobling human conditions, that is reduced sense of deception, guilt, rigidity and vindictiveness. That means people consider each other as human beings, their relationship is strengthened and there is less tendency to be rigid or vindictive. Vindictive means causing harm to the other person. We are retaliating because of any conflict and causing harm to the other person more than on achieving effectiveness and profitability. Thus, we can say that virtuous tendencies are intrinsically motivated and are oriented towards betterment of human beings and beyond the immediate concerns of self-interest. Ultimately, we are talking about the highest human good, which can only be amplified when people tend to consider each other in a very strengthened and ennobled manner. That is how organizational virtuousness can be amplified within workplaces. So, we are through with the discussion of this correlate. We will continue in the next session. Thank you so much.